on, everybody? It's Dave Drace with the Collective Experience, and we're back for the second 2021 Supercross race review. I've got my main man, Mr. Brad Gebhardt, with me. Brad of Big MX Radio. What's going on, dude? You excited to get into this?
Absolutely. Thanks for not kicking me off the call. I really appreciate the time, and this is going to be a lot of fun. And I think this video is when Kyle's really going to start to round into form. A few more guys that he has a little bit more dirt on. He's got that shit-eating grin on his face now. He's going to have to get into things. And we're going to talk about some guys that, yeah, there's going to be some fans out there that argue that these guys are top level guys. They're guys that can fight for podiums. They can be top 5 guys. But in our eyes, a lot of these guys are just a tick outside of that. And we're going to kind of dissect as to why we feel that way. But a lot of these guys have solid rides. They've had solid rides in the past, and they've got some unlimited amount of talent as well. Kyle, I know you're excited about this episode. This is sort of like the meat and potatoes of the Supercross series.
Yeah. Super excited to get into these guys. Let's get started.
Absolutely. Now,
like
okay, guys.
He's getting revved up like the true wise zinger, guy that he is. Takes a while for it to heat up, man. You gotta let him simmer for a little.
We went through a whole heat cycle. He's running a little rich. He's kind of sputtering a little bit. But we'll get the electron fuel systems carburetor all set up. I think those are jetless carbs, aren't they not?
I don't know how they work. I think it's some weird magic.
I think Kyle knows.
Call it magic.
It's black magic.
There we go. Yep.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's probably more complicated than suspension. But all right, boys, let's talk about a number of these guys. And as always, there's going to be way too fucking many of these guys. We're talking about guys like Bogle, Bloss, as well as Brock Tickle, Dean Wilson, Justin Brayton. Let's start with the number 10 because he's got the highest, the best number in this whole bunch here as far as a permanent number. He's also won a Supercross in the last little while here, but I don't think he's quite in that form anymore. He's on the Muck Off Honda, otherwise known as Penrite, which is amazing. I love that team name. Yep. But Kyle, what do you expect from Justin Brayton, aside from solid performances, great podium interviews, and maybe a heat race here and there?
He not easily, at least. If he gets up there, he doesn't let it go. If he's in front of you, he's going to be a tough one to get around, but he may not be the fastest, but he can definitely be a good starter. We've seen him up front many times. And if you make a mistake, he's right there to capitalize on it.
I totally agree. What do you think, Dave?
No, I agree with that. I think the guy is he's a bulldog, man. He's a pretty solid starter. We've seen that over the years, and he really knows how to ride a very well-maintained race. Being the veteran that he is, as well as being extremely, I guess, I want to say spry. He's not quite an old man, but the dude still looks like he
raced on 2 strokes in arena cross.
Yeah, but he doesn't look.
That's how old he is.
The guy, like his age, the way he rides the bike, he might be a little stiffer here and there, but like his racecraft, he looks like a younger guy. So to match that type of, still have that type of athleticism and race, I guess prowess, along with being a seasoned veteran, having the race smarts and being a super wise racer in that regard. I think he's potent, dude. I think he might be a tick off from his teammate Ken Roxon, the Eli Tomeks of the world, Cooper Webb, or whatever. But I think he can still play a pretty effective spoiler for a lot of guys. If he gets into that top 5 spot, he can play block. He can race you and mess you up, get you off your cadence a little bit, kind of get in your head. Because he's, like Kyle said, he's not easy to pass me. He's not easy to get around. He's not easy to track down. He's a solid guy, especially if he ends up liking that new 21 Honda. A lot of people are talking about how this could either be a make or break for a lot of teams. If that Honda is as good as Honda says it is and the magazines say it is, this could be the piece of the puzzle that he needs to nab off another main event win for all we know. So I'm excited to see how he handles everything, and I think he's going to be pretty formidable, man.
Fair enough. I didn't think you drank, but apparently you must be, or maybe there's something in the water over there down in Wisconsin. Because I love Justin Brayton, but he ain't winning a Supercross this year. But
crazier
that being said, there's going to be a time during this year where Dylan Ferrandis is going absolutely insane trying to pass the number 10. Like it's like we're a 2-time champion in the 250 class is actually absolutely has his hands full of a 35-year-old out of Iowa. Let's stick with other like kind of the top end of this group right here. And I'm going to talk about basically the third on the totem pole, a guy who should probably be for most weekends a top 10 guy, Dean Wilson. He's kind of third on the pecking order as far as the Husky team is considered. But the last time we saw him, he was on the podium. He has that potential. He's won races in the 250s. He's a 250 outdoor champ. That's a lot of years ago already. But like, what do you guys think? Like, Kyle, is Dean Wilson somebody who can still challenge for top fives and ride within that group, or is he a tick off? As we start to see him closer to the twilight of his career, and he starts to put in rides like the 11th, 12th place somewhere near more like a Vince Friese or something like
that? This is a hard one. I'm a big Dean. The number of riders coming up they're top notch. These guys are no joke. I mean, even Chase Sexton, Adam Cianciarulo, these guys rookies. Like Adam's got a year under him. To crack that top 5 has never been harder, I think. So for Dean to be up there, can he be up there? Yes. Can he hold to it? That's another thing, because you've never had so many people on your heels just ready to drag you down. So I hope so. I'd love to see him in top 5. But I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be up there.
Dave, this is the first time that he and Dean's been working with KTM / Husqvarna for a number of years now. But even at the beginning, he wasn't training with Marvin Dunge back in 2016 or whenever he was with KTM. He's basically not allowed to train with those guys, work out with those guys. Now he's down at Alden's. He's in the Baker's factory. He's putting in the work. He's always been fit. I think he's fast. But I worry that Dean Wilson's window is closed on him a little bit. I don't know if he still has that fastball. Maybe that's something he can still find.
I'm not sure. I kind of agree with the first statement. I think Dean might be a little bit past that threshold of when he can really start to have an uptick. Not saying anything bad about Dean. Dean is solid. He's a fan favorite. He's extremely talented. And yeah, the last time we went racing in Supercross, the guy had a podium. So there's nothing to snicker at. I just think when it comes down to being in the title hunt, being a consistent podium threat, I think Dino just falls a tiny bit short. And that's not anything about his racecraft or him as, his talent or anything. I just think he's had so many like injuries and he's been through this grind year after year for a while now. It tends to wear on you a little bit. I think one thing that would, I guess, give me a little bit more confidence in Dean is seeing that last 5-lap push, right? We see a lot of guys fade. Not saying their lap times drop like, by a minute or anything, but half a second, second and a half, whatever. Yeah. I think Dino falls in that category where, man, he'll be solid for most of the race. And then when it comes down to like the part that really counts, where it's like that last ditch effort to make that pass or to keep that position, Dean kind of falls short a little bit. So if he gets that figured out this year, man, we could be talking about a whole different Dean Wilson.
Yeah,
a different program.
He is a new program, and here's one thing that I think a lot of people are. We haven't had a lot of guys change seats, but we've had a lot of guys that are on newer motorcycles. Things like the guys on the Hondas, brand new machine. You know that after the first round of Houston, they're going to be like pulling their hair out, saying it's not doing what it's supposed to do. It's not doing what it's supposed to do, and they won't know where to go. Whereas guys that have been on the same machine. I talked to Zach Osborne in the press conference not 2 hours ago, name dropping, and sort of we're flexing on both of you guys, that honestly, he feels that if you're on the same bike as you were on previous years, that is a huge leg up on the competition. Guys like Zach Osborne, guys like Cooper Webb, guys like Marvin Muscan, and same thing with the guys on the Kawasaki's. they're going to have a very familiar platform to test with and be able to, all right, it wasn't doing this. Now I know where to move. I know what I can do to make things different for the next race, which is in 2 days. You're not going to be able to like lose your mind on Saturday night and then be at the test track on Sunday to get things fixed. That's not an option anymore. So I think it's going to be a feather in Dean's cap, and he might just be able to surprise some people. I think that he's flying under the radar. He wasn't involved in the press conference. I think guys take that to heart, and they maybe light the fire in his belly a little bit. I expect big things from Dean Wilson this season, and I think he's on the machine that can prove it. Let's talk about a couple of MCR Honda guys. Let's talk about Brock Tickle. Let's talk about Benny Bloss. Basically, I want to know from the two of you, rather than doing a bunch of analysis, because I think they're both fast and they both have potential to have good rides. Which one of those two is your, is your 2A and 2B? Because I think the consensus is that Shane McElrath is their flagship guy.
Well, Shane got hurt, right?
Yeah, he was at the press conference today. He's going to try and ride at Houston.
Yeah. I guess I'll go first. Brock, I'm a big Brock fan. I think he's been through quite a lot. I think he knows what he has to do to make things happen. I just think he's going to be a little bit hungrier for it.
Yeah, I think he wants to prove himself. I think he's definitely
he's been bounced around a lot, and he did not do bad on Yamaha.
No,
he had a couple of flukes. He did really good. I think he pulled through solid for that team in the situation, and I think with the opportunity he's presented now, I think he's going to take it and try to run as far as he can with it.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some potential there, and I think he can at least be number 2 on that team, if not maybe a slight bit ahead of a guy like Shane, who is coming in a little hurt. What say you, Dave? Like, honestly, I love Benny Bloss, but I can't even put him number 2 on this particular team right now. I haven't seen enough from him.
I hear you. A part of me wants to say Benny 2A and Brock 2B, based off of Benny being a younger guy and being, we keep hearing Benny, have Benny's name thrown in with, so much potential. The guy at any given moment could be a top 5 guy, rides the bike so well, muscles it around, but we haven't seen that consistently. That's the only thing that really kills me with a lot of these riders is there's so much to them, and they could have so much stock in their name. It's just they need to be able to back up these things that people are saying about them and ride to that potential, which is, I know, easier said than done, especially for my slow fat ass. So I think I would put a little bit more in terms of stock into Brock, but not by a lot. Brock is a super seasoned guy, crazy talented, very good, and he makes every opportunity count for him. I will say that it's such a welcome sight to see him really appreciate and really give it his all with every single ride. Where there's a lot of riders that don't do that over the years. And I think he's going to just be all out grit, put his head down and put the work in, ride the way that he has to ride to make his team proud. It's a toss up for me being on the side of, I like Brock. He's super solid. He's going to be a lot more consistent than I think some of the other guys on his team. But I do like the fact that Benny is a little bit younger and still has that fervor to him. And he still has that young racer mentality, still that all out, I'm going to go sprint speed and maybe this weekend it'll work for me. And sometimes it does. Right. So it's really hard. I think they both have their individual strengths, and it's hard for me to kind of pick one over the other because they're weighted so differently. You know what I mean? It's going to be really interesting, man. That's one grouping that I'm really excited to see who comes out as like top dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, the who officially makes himself the best of the rest, and that includes guys like Justin Bogle as well as Joey Savacci. Joey Savacci, who two years ago was on a factory machine. Even last year, he should have been on JGR. Didn't get to ride at all, but he still has the potential for solid finishes. He's got an amazing bike underneath him, and he's got a lot to prove this year. And same thing with Justin Bogle. I think he's looking to come into a season with a full bill of health for the first time in a long time. But my question to you guys, and starting with Dave, is who do you give the edge to as far as competitive wise between these two going forward? They're both race winners in the 250 class. They've both led laps in Supercross races, and they're both extremely talented. But like at some point, these guys they're going to be battling with all of these guys that we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. If you ask me, I think just tip my hat a little bit more into the Joey Savacci camp. I do like the fact that both these guys are uber talented. Bogle, one of the most naturally talented guys you'll see on a bike. It's phenomenal. Joey, I think, is in the midst of really rebranding himself and really getting that second wind of his career. And I like what that brings with it. It brings
he has to,
right? It brings with him a little bit more speed, a little bit more focus, a little bit more tenacity, and a little bit more willingness to go the extra mile. And that could be a really potent combination, man. That can almost define a rider's career. So the fact that Joey's kind of coming in that realm makes me really excited for him. And I would say that gives me the little bit of a nod over Bogle, where Bogle's been on this team before. He's put a little bit more time in the 450s, obviously, than Joey. And I think just for that, I'd have to give it to Savacci. Now, obviously, I'm hoping that Bogle proves me wrong because I'm a big Bogle fan. The dude's a style icon in the sport. Of course, I'm all for it. But I'm
You're
excited.
Literally a big everyone fan. You're just a big Supercross fan. Can you just say that?
I am. I mean, can you blame me? This is the coolest sport in the world.
Dave wants everyone to get participation ribbons.
No, I dig so many of these riders. But I mean,
yeah.
Again,
everyone who makes the night show should make the same amount of money. Dave's a communist.
I wear 20 t-shirts. It's just everyone on the gate, just their t-shirt.
Yeah, but which one's on top is what I want to know.
Who's on top? Oh, that's tough, man. On any given weekend, probably going to be AC, but that's for another discussion.
Okay.
But
no, that's for a different video too. Last guy we're going to talk about for this particular one. Oh, actually, Kyle, I'll let you weigh in on those two.
On Joey and Bogle.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to see what Joey's got coming. Being on Factory Cowie, then going to JGR, I feel like he's been kind of hitting both ends of the spectrum there, going from like Cowie, which is an amazing team, to JGR, which no disrespect to them, but at the same time, like just the whole hype and everything that's behind Suzuki and the vibe that goes with it.
Yeah.
I
think a lot of mismanagement there.
He's gone from one end to the other. And I think this ride with Rocky Mountain is a breath of fresh air for him. I think it's an opportunity, especially because in his earlier years, the way he's dealt with press, the way he's dealt with fans, it's not the way he wants to come across, but that's how he came across to them, and it wasn't the best taste. So with this, I think he's a little more mature. I feel like understands that a little bit better. But also, I think he believes in the machine he's riding, which is huge. So I think I have a lot of faith in Joey with this one.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I can't disagree with you. I think that Joey is going to surprise some people. I think he's probably flying under the radar more than maybe anybody of note within this. And the last guy we're going to talk about in this sort of group, only because we can't really make too much mention of him in a group higher than this, would be Brandon Hartranft. Rookie 450 guy. He's got podiums in the 250 class, both on the Rock River Yamaha in the past. He goes from there, and then he also had the 1 year with TLD. He goes from there straight to the unfortunately the heaviest and slowest 450 out there, but it's a proven platform, and he's going to have Dustin Pipes and the entire Hep Suzuki team behind him and pushing him forward. Brandon Hartranft has a really cool scenario where he doesn't have a lot of pressure on him whatsoever. He's going to have the opportunity to get his feet wet, get races under his belt. He doesn't have a lot of spotlight on him, but he does have a ton of talent. He's a bigger kid that can throw the 450 around. And I think he might be the like a bit of a sleeper rolling into this season. He, like I said, not a lot of pressure, and he's got a solid program behind him. Wouldn't you say so, Dave?
Yeah, I think so, man. Again, a lot of people are going to say what they say about Suzuki. I'm not buying it. I think the Suzuki is a pretty solid bike. Yeah, when you is it as great as the factory Cowie? No, but I mean, you got to also look at like the riders that are on them. It's a lot more than just the bike. So I think it's going to be a solid season. It's going to be a little bit of a growing pain, I think, going to not only a 450 class, but also a bike that is completely different than what you've been on in previous years. As you're, developing your skills and getting used to the 450 and stuff like that. But I think that the team is solid, man. They've got most of the bugs figured out. They're not coming in as a rookie team anymore. They're not making rookie mistakes, and they really believe in their program. Hence, them hiring a world top athlete like Max Anstey. So I think we're going to see some cool things out of him. I don't have him on my sleeper list just yet because I really haven't seen him do much on a 450. I'm sure that'll change once we kick off in Houston this weekend. But I'm liking his chances for having some solid rides. I think he's going to turn some heads and really do some cool things. And I think if he does have some really incredible rides and can be consistent on the Suzuki, he's going to shut a lot of people up on Instagram. So that's going to be pretty cool. Thank you to Brad. Thank you to Kyle for joining us, guys. Please check out Big MX Radio along with Wise Zingers on Instagram. We've got a lot of offerings coming from the collective experience. Please check those out and let us know how you think we did on this one. Were we kind of off our rocker? Were we spot on with your predictions? And are there riders that you think we should have mentioned? Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe and let us know what you think. And check us out in the next one.